What keeps you awake at night? I mean, what, are you always worried about like some guy at Google spending 20% of his time to come up with a replacement of Songkick or some social network plugin or something that just, takes a lot of that information and then just all of a sudden it's like you wake up and we were talking about Ustream and YouTube before we went live here, and all of a sudden your business model is just been completely replaced.
Well, there's always a risk of that, right? I mean, I worked at Google for a while in their search group, so I know the resources and the smart people that they can bring to bear on a problem. So, in theory, yeah, they could probably try and do something along the lines of what we're doing. I'm actually not that worried by it, though, partly because if a really huge company like that decided to do it, there's not much we could do about it, so why worry? It's not much point in losing sleep over things that you can't control.
They might hire you after they take over the space.
Who knows? But also, I think the really huge companies tend to look for the really big opportunities. One of the really interesting things about Google is it's really hard to get a project off the ground unless it's genuinely going to be $1 billion business, because Google can't see things that are smaller than $1 billion.
Right, because they're a public company, and
it's not just public; it's just so big, right? Okay. I mean, they're throwing off $15 billion a quarter of free cash, which is, when you think about it, staggering. I mean, the joke in Google was the hardest job in Google was you had to shovel all the cash out of the way to get to your desk in the morning. So, but it really is. It really is quite strange working in an organisation that's kind of at that scale, because suddenly things that when you're a startup, something that is like maybe initially a $100,000, $1 million, even $100 million opportunities looks like, okay, great, 100 million. If I can get a market cap, or if I can build a company worth 100 million, that's enormous. To Google, that doesn't matter. It's too small to worry about, because you can't make an impact on Google's success unless you're in the $1 billion range, and hopefully in the multiple billions of dollars range. So it actually skews their vision of what's possible and what they want to put resources into. And I think that gives enormous opportunity to smaller companies, because we can do the things that initially look smaller, and that's great success for us. And then from there, we can then grow upwards, and we can build a head start. And I think that's what we've done, is that we've got now something that is certainly couldn't be reproduced, but is far enough along that it would actually be quite a lot of work for somebody to build the system that we have underneath that can pull all that data in and make sense of it and present it back to users in the form that they want. So no, I'm not particularly worried about that. It could happen, but an earthquake could happen.
Kind of